Sam. Monsignor, I'm honored to have been asked to be here today, and I very much enjoyed being with all these other young people. Sam has mentioned some of the things I did earlier in my youth. I'm now a professor of global affairs at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. UCF is the largest university in the United States. We have many fine programs, including a very active program fighting human trafficking. That's part of our overall endeavor. I came to the university 2 years ago and founded the Center for Global Economic and Environmental Opportunity. Chris up there, Clay back there are fellows with GEO, as we call it. Now I have about 120 faculty members from all disciplines in the university who are fellows, and equally important, we have many community leaders and activists who are also fellows of GEO. We are just getting started on what I believe will be a wonderful task that will make a difference in our community and in the wider world. Quite simply, the mission of GEO is to help fulfill the Sustainable Development Goals locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. We do this in a number of ways. We are engaged with other universities. Next week we'll have the 6th meeting in an effort to form a higher education partnership for sustainable development among all the colleges and universities in our third of Florida. We have 8 involved now. We will probably have 15 or so when we formally launch our partnership effort next spring. We are working in 3 areas. Obviously, operations. As universities, we want to be sustainable ourselves. Also, curriculum, where I've learned a great deal today that will help us in moving forward. We want to make sustainable development intertwined in an integral part of our curriculum. And lastly, community action. In terms of community action, we are, of course, working with dozens and dozens of student organizations on our campus. Ideas for us, represented here today by Clayton and Chris, was founded at UCF, and there are many other student organizations working for the different goals in the SDGs at UCF. We are about to launch next Wednesday in Orlando a regional resilience collaborative, we call it, for East Central Florida. The 3 metropolitan areas in our part of Florida, our 3 cities that show up on the map that Molly might show us from space, are 3 of the 10 cities in the United States that are most at risk from climate change. And yet we live in a state where at the political level there has been a reluctance to address climate change or even call it climate change. So we have our challenge cut out for us, but in this effort among 8 counties representing 5 million people, we will be working on all kinds of issues to fulfill the goals and the targets of the SDGs. We're going to start with a climate assessment to find out just what our greenhouse gas emissions are. We're doing an infrastructure assessment to find out just what more we need to repair and improve and modernize in terms of sustainability. And we're doing an overall assessment of our risks. In addition, we're working increasingly through our GEO and our university with national and international efforts to address climate change and sustainable development. That's one reason I'm here today. That's why I was with Jeff and others here in New York a couple of weeks ago. That's why I was speaking to the Commonwealth of Nations in London the week before last, and why I was at the WTO last week explaining how and why we need to reimagine the rules of world trade to make certain that they assist in the cause of promoting sustainable development. This is all part of my job with my university, but it's also part of my continuing effort in life in public service. I'd like to leave all of you with this. I've heard some talk of politics here and some reluctance on the part of some able young people here to go into something called politics. It's become a dirty word, and I can certainly understand your reluctance. All the things that we're doing bottom up are indispensable to the task of achieving sustainable development. I've written a whole book about that. But in the end, we also have to have politics. Politics is the only way we're going to solve this problem. And if we're unhappy with what our political representatives are doing, then let's replace them. And we should be thinking of replacing them with some of you and with people your age. The world doesn't have time to wait for you to become 35 or 40 and then decide to run. You need to run when you're 25 or 30. Yours is not the first generation that has confronted this question. When I was your age, well, we wanted civil rights, we wanted women's rights, we wanted environmental protection, we wanted to end the Vietnam War, and I decided that what I had to do was go fix it. And I've been trying to fix it for a long time now, but we need help. And the problems you're facing are problems that are much more urgent and pressing than any we face, because the fate of our whole civilization is at stake now. I'm going to continue to work with you as long as I'm around, but ultimately it is going to be your generation that makes the difference. So don't hesitate. Do what needs to be done, and what needs to be done is for you to begin putting your names on ballots and making certain that you vote and you participate and you make the decisions that need to be made. Thank you again.
Thank you.